The National Weather Service just recently rated the tornado here an EF4, which means it was spinning between 166 and 200 miles per hour. Reporting in Mayflower, Arkansas for ABC News, I'm Ashley Bridges. Believe it or not, before the rains came, this was part of the backyard. Now you can see it for yourself. I'm starting to wade in to give you an idea for how deep it is. Retail experts would tell you not to buy apparel. It'll get cheaper closer to the holidays, but for $10 each, I think these are a steal. Hi, David. You can see the snow's still sticking around behind me, and there's still some ice here, but people could not blame their frustration on those things, so they turned to their leaders. And at first, as you said, they were pointing fingers, but now leaders are admitting they did too little, too late. Meteorologists tell us the storm system is spinning in place and could pack another punch to these already devastated communities. In Bologna, Arkansas, for ABC News, I'm Ashley Bridges. There is a long road ahead for the people who live here. State officials actually had to put the entire town on a curfew in an effort to prevent looting. Hi, Ty. As you can see, the snow behind me may not look like a lot by New York standards, but it did shut the city down. And since you can't blame the snow, the people who were gridlocked, the kids who had to sleep at their schools, and the commuters who had to get out of those cars, they want to know who really is responsible for this. Is it the forecasters or is it their government? 2 days after a rare snow and ice storm shut down several southern states.
This is something I've never seen covering traffic above Metro Atlanta.
Atlanta was one of the hardest hit spots. Its roadways are still littered with abandoned cars. Just 2 inches of snow fell in the city, leaving children stranded in schools, causing hundreds of car accidents and bringing traffic to a screeching halt for nearly 24 hours. Still, Southern hospitality managed to shine through, strangers helping strangers.
We brought her some soup, and then we said, you just got to come spend the night with us.
And the National Guard handed out food to commuters who were stuck in that standstill.
It's just basic nutrition. That's what your soldiers are eating out in Afghanistan when they're out on patrols.
But now those who were trapped in that gridlock want to know who was responsible for their traffic nightmare.
I've been on the road for 16 hours. Someone needs to be held accountable.
Authorities are blaming weather forecasters for being caught off guard.
Most of the forecast anticipated that the city of Atlanta would only have a mild dusting or a very small accumulation, if any.
Atlanta's mayor even had a testy exchange on CNN.
It's easy for you to say from your anchor seat. The fact
no,
that
I was out stuck in the traffic.
The Weather Service said, don't blame us. The National Weather Service saying they were 2 days in advance and they appropriately issued a series of outlooks, watches, and warnings. And a lot of forecasters have actually come together to say, look, we're sorry that those buses had a hard time getting kids home, but don't throw us under the bus for it. And everybody is happy to hear the upcoming forecast for the weekend. It's supposed to actually climb up into the 60s. So the snow you see behind me and that dangerous black ice that's still out on the roadways, all this should be gone by the weekend. Ty?
All right. Well, Ashley, we know people are being encouraged today to get their cars finally from the road since it's a little bit safer to drive now. What about the kids who were stuck at school? Are they all home at this point, we assume? And how long were they stuck? What are some of the interesting stories you've heard about that?
Ty, I have to tell you, our son was actually one of those kids stuck at the schools, and he was there for going on 36 hours. And, you know, they had a great time and banded together, but it did cause a lot of worry for families. Thankfully, Atlanta kids, the whole metro, those kids got home last night. But if you look over to Alabama, some of those kids actually had to spend a second night in school.